Welcome to the Outlier Mindset. I'm Dr. Monique Samare, and today I'm going to be talking about making decisions under uncertainty. This is something I get asked a lot because as a two-time entrepreneur and as someone who's made pivots in my life and my career, people have often asked me, how did I make those decisions? Because some decisions I've had to make with business look risky to outsiders, or it looks like there's no certain path forward. And that's often the case with entrepreneurship. But it can also be the case in your life. Very often it is. You have a choice between two jobs. You could move cities or stay where you are. These are things that have uncertainty to them. And I think this comes down to one key thing, which is knowing your values. And so, how do you go about figuring out where the values are at right now in the company or in your personal life? I think a lot of that comes down to looking for essentially your accidental values. How do you find what your accidental values are? In a company, you can look at what have you given bonuses for? Not just the actual end result, but what was the means of getting to that end? That's actually what you're valuing, is how they got to that end. So high sales is the end result. You might think that you're rewarding or placing value on having lots of sales, but it's the behaviors of that person to get the lots of sales. Was it working 100 hours a week? Was it undercutting a teammate? Or was it actually developing meaningful relationships with their clients and teamwork with their colleagues in order to deliver the best services? So you need to look at the means, and that will show the types of things that your company is truly valuing in the reward systems. In your personal life, you can look at the accidental values. And you might think, well, how do I find that? This is an ongoing exercise that I do. It's something that I revisit all the time because even though I do have core values, I find I need to revisit them through my life. As things change, life changes, I grow and mature, my priorities change. And so I stop and think, what are my actual lived values right now? And there's a number of ways you can do this. You can journal about it, but there's two key ways that I like the best. So I'm going to give you the boring one, then I'm going to give you the fun one. The boring one is actually extremely useful. I have worked as a consultant for over 18 years. That means that all of my time that I'm working, I write it down and I keep it in a log to 15-minute increments. It's gross, but it's also really useful. It helps you understand where your time's going. And so periodically, I will go and do the same thing that I do as a consultant with my 15-minute time increments, and I'll do it on my personal life. And sometimes it can feel like just a drag and such a waste to think, oh, there goes half an hour that I could have been doing something productive. But it really, really helps me to understand where my time goes. And I'm often surprised to find out that it's not the things that I thought I was spending my time on. And it helps me to understand what I value. So I've been surprised before about how much time I actually spend cooking and baking and taking care of my plants. It's something that I've had to recognize that I truly value. So what I've realized in my own life by finding that I spend a lot of time on things like my cooking, baking, taking care of my plants, that is a means. So that's a behavior that shows that what I actually value is that for me, those are things that are relaxing, are meditation. They're time away from my phone, away from my screens, where I have space for my mind. And I can see a physical outcome for what I'm doing. On the flip side, there are also things that I find I do that maybe aren't so great, like spending time scrolling on social media. And I have to stop and think, okay, what is that? What's the accidental value I've done here? And is social media itself something that is an end for me, that like a reason, something I want in my life? Or am I doing that as a means of achieving something else? Is that my means of achieving that brain break that I also could get from things like, for me, it's baking or taking care of my plants. And I'm seeking that break so I could find healthier ways of going about it that actually align with my true value. So I find I do have these things that creep into my life that are against my actual authentic values, these accidental behaviors. And so keeping that 15-minute increment, I recommend doing a minimum of a week of that. I spreadsheet it. You can just do it in a journal, anything that you like that. I love making graphs. So I do spreadsheet and then I can look at it again later on in my life and compare the drift or the corrections I've made. Okay, this is the funner way, but I guess it depends if you're a data nerd like me or a sci-fi nerd like me. If there was like an alien race watching your everyday behavior, what would they say you value? The stuff that, maybe other people don't see, the things that you find yourself thinking that aren't necessarily productive, or maybe they are productive. How do you spend your time? Not just the observable stuff, but the unobservable. And I think that's just a really unique way of thinking about it that helped me stop and pause, because it's one thing to say, oh, this is what my friends would think I value because they see these behaviors, but it's also what goes on in your head. Think about a full month at least, not just right now, but in an actual full month. What would that alien civilization say you value? And that can be a really good starting point to finding those things you've accidentally begun to value and do a reset. Now, when you're going to do the reset, you want to look for your authentic values. And that's where you want to look at what creates value in your life. And I've talked about keeping a detailed timesheet about what would aliens think your values are. But it is also good to talk to some friends. Those friends who will really level with you and tell you what they think. Ask them what they think your values are. If you have a partner in life, ask them what they think your values are. It can lead to some really deep discussions. Also, give this thought. This isn't something that you come up with overnight. Whether it's personal values or corporate values, it takes time. You need to think about it. You need to try them on for size, see how they work, see how they resonate in your day-to-day life or in the day-to-day of the company. See how comfortable you are talking about them. This leads into one other topic I want to touch on. This is the difference between deeply thinking and overthinking. I see so many things on social media about overthinking. I hear that in the office too. Oh, don't overthink it. I hate that concept. And I realize it's good intentioned, but we should think more. We should think as much as we want about something. We should deeply think about things. We should engage in multi-level, multi-ordered, complex, dynamic thinking. Don't get stuck. Don't give yourself anxiety over this. But please do deeply, deeply think and give it that thought. Think on multiple levels. Think about the consequences. Think 2, 3, 4 stages. Is it the means or is it the end? Is it the result that you're rewarding, or are you accidentally, inadvertently rewarding the means by which that was achieved? Think about those things, because that's going to really matter in your personal values. And at the end of the day, that's where you put your time, it's where you put your energy, and it's going to change your life. So, circling back to the beginning, once you know those things, once you understand your values, very few things actually seem that uncertain when you encounter them, because you can see how it aligns with your values. I hope you enjoyed going down that rabbit hole of values with me today. It may not have been what people expect as an answer to making decisions under uncertainty. We could also, of course, talk about developing risk matrices and failure modes and effects analyses and all these things. I absolutely love a good failure modes and effects analysis, but it's really hard to do a lot of those things, or to determine which risks you're willing to take if you don't know your values. That's the starting point, and we can dig into the rest some other day. You might have an unclear path ahead. The journey might be uncertain, but you always have a light that guides you. I hope that was helpful. I really hope you'll try some of these things out. And until next time, let your light shine.